I thought I was having a regular Tuesday, fresh coffee, Cardinals cap, and a to-do list that didn't bite, until my phone pinged with a bank alert that knocked the starch right out of me. Wire processed. $14,800. Recipient, West Ridge University Tuition Office. I nodded to myself. That was the money I sent for my daughter Haley's last semester. For years of saving, cutting coupons, skipping fancy stuff so the kid could walk across that stage in May with a smile big enough to light up Pittsburgh. At 10:17 a.m. the phone rang again, unknown number. Hello, Mr. Walker? This is Registrar's office at West Ridge University. We're calling about your outstanding balance. I blinked. Ma'am, I just wired the full amount. A pause. Papers shuffling. I'm not seeing any payment. And I'm not seeing an active enrollment for Haley Walker this term. I stared at my kitchen window in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, while a neighborhood squirrel flattened himself like a spy against my bird feeder. Not enrolled. I said, that's got to be a glitch. I'm sorry, she said gently. We sent emails in December. She did not register for classes. I hung up and leaned on the counter until the laminate groaned. My daughter had told me the schedule, sent me a list of textbooks, even joked about a tough lab on Thursdays. I could hear her voice. Dad, it's senior year. We're almost there. You're going to cry at graduation. Don't deny it. I opened my banking app. The wire had gone out yesterday. Somewhere safe, I thought. Same name, same city. But that registrar, no enrollment? My stomach did a slow elevator ride to the basement. I called Haley. Straight to voicemail. Hey, kiddo. Call me, please. I paced the kitchen. I checked my email. Nothing. I checked again like that would change physics. That's your hook, folks. Before I tell you what this mess turned into, do me a favor. Hit subscribe and comment your time zone or where you're listening from. I read those. I'll shout a few of you out at the end of the full story. Back to the call that tilted my world. I'm Ray Walker, 68, retired foreman from the Edgar Thompson Works over in Braddock. 40 years, swing shifts, steel dust, packed lunches. I'm not fancy, but I'm steady. I keep a yellow legal pad on my table, a jar of bolts in the garage, and a freezer full of pierogies from Greenfield in case company drops by. When my wife passed, it was just me and Haley. She was a freshman then, shining and sharp, talking about microbiology like it was a love song. I did what dads do. Packed a car, hugged too long, and promised to wire the last semester if she kept her grades up. She kept her end. Yesterday, I kept mine. And now I'm being told there's no enrollment. I called the bank. Sir, the rep said, your wire went to West Ridge Tuition Services, LLC. That's a legitimate business name on file. Associated with the university? I can't confirm that level of detail, but the name matches prior transactions on our network. I set the phone down careful, like it might explode. Tuition Services, LLC. Sounded right enough to pass a glance, wrong enough to set my neck hairs buzzing. I left 3 more voicemails for Haley, then decided I wouldn't sit and rot. I grabbed my coat, my keys, and my old black notebook, the one I used for job site notes when a foreman needed dates and times nobody could argue with. First stop, Monroeville Post Office. I've known Rita there since she had big hair and loud earrings. These days she's got reading glasses on a chain and the patience of a saint. Morning, Ray, she said. You need stamps or sanity? Both, I said. I asked about a priority mail envelope I'd sent to Haley last week, cashier's check for a book fee, and a winter jacket. She tapped her screen. Delivered to campus mailroom, signed by H. Walker. She looked up. Everything okay? Just sorting out some school stuff, I said. I forced a smile that convinced exactly no one. Out in the parking lot, I texted Haley's best friend Jules. Nice kid from Squirrel Hill, the kind who waters plants unasked. Hey Jules, you seen H? She not answering. 3 dots then. Mr. W. I thought she was home with you? I stared at the phone. Home? No. She's supposed to be on campus. Jules. She hasn't been in our group chat since New Year's. Thought she was taking a break. Ice ran through me. Haley never takes a break from the group chat. She's a chatterbox in slippers. I drove to West Ridge University, a tight hour and change on the turnpike, and parked near the Brick Science Hall. I found the registrar's office. Same woman, same steady voice. She pulled up the file and pointed to a line of dates like beads on a wire. Mr. Walker, we emailed on December 3rd, 10th, and 20th. No enrollment. Also, this is important. Student ID was used to access portal from an out-of-state IP address. We flagged it as unusual, but the student never responded. Out of state? Yes, sir. Nevada. My throat went dry. Las Vegas. She nodded, a little sad smile. That's where the IP geolocated. I stood there with the campus hum around us. Kids in hoodies, coffee steam, a flyer for a Pittsburgh Penguins watch party, and felt the floor slide. Sir, she added carefully, if you suspect fraud, our IT can help file an incident report. If your daughter is traveling, she should contact us. I thanked her and walked out into the crisp air that smelled like snow and deadlines. A bus hissed by. Somewhere a kid laughed. The world didn't know my heart was doing push-ups. On a stone bench outside, I dialed Haley's number again. Straight to voicemail. I stared at the statue of some founder in a bronze coat and said, "Buddy, I could use a miracle." Instead, my phone finally lit up, Haley calling back. I answered so fast I almost hung up. Haley, "Hey, Dad," she said, voice bright but thin. Car noise in the background. Not campus noise. Traffic that sounded like a strip. You in class? I asked. Between labs. She said, "Bad signal. Can I call you later?" "Where are you?" I asked, calm as steel. "At the library," she said. Voice wobbled. "Which one?" Click. The call dropped. I stared at my phone, then at the yellow skyline beyond the stadium banners. My kid was lying. Maybe to protect me. Maybe to protect herself. Either way, not like her. I walked to my truck and sat without starting it. I opened the black notebook. 10:17 a.m. registrar call. No enrollment. Wire to Tuition Services LLC. Portal sign-ins from Nevada. Haley evasive, likely Las Vegas. Across the page I wrote, "Find her. Bring her home." I drove back to Monroeville on muscle memory. Every song on the radio sounding like a lecture I didn't need. At my kitchen table, I pulled up my bank again and stared at that wire name until it looked like smoke. Tuition Services LLC. I did a quick search on the laptop. A dozen companies with similar names showed up like mushrooms after rain. Some legit, some not. Some designed to look legit from far away and crooked close up. I called the bank's fraud line. Not to panic, just a document. "Sir," the guy said, "if funds were misdirected, we can file a claim. But if your daughter authorized a reroute, that's trickier." "I need the receiving bank info," I said. He took my details and promised a callback. I stood, stretched my back, and noticed an envelope on the console table. Haley's Christmas card to me. I opened it again. Inside, her loopy handwriting. "Almost there, Dad. Senior year. Final round. Thanks for never letting go of the rope." I touched the words like they might open a secret passage. Then I did what I should have done first. I called Jules again and went straight. "Jules, I need you to level with me. If you know where she is, tell me." A pause. "Mr. W. Haley mentioned a weekend in Vegas with a friend, just to celebrate the new year. She said it was just for 2 days. I thought she was back. Do you have any other friend names? Maybe a guy named Rico. I don't know him." My jaw tightened. Rico sounded like a person with good hair and bad plans. I thanked Jules, grabbed my keys, then stopped. "Slow is strong, Ray. Don't bust into a mess without a map." I sat down and wrote steps. 1. Call bank again for receiving bank details. 2. Pull phone records. I'm on the family plan. Yes, I still pay it. Sue me. 3. Check social media for tags or stories. 4. If Vegas confirms, airline or bus. Find route. 5. Neighbor check-in. Nora across the street watches my house like it's a TV show. I logged into the phone account. Numbers, timestamps, locations. In December and January, a cluster of late-night calls to a 702 area code. My thumb hovered. I dialed one of them. Hello. A guy. Smooth voice. Hey, this is Ray. I'm trying to reach Haley. Who? Playing dumb. My daughter. Click. I raised my eyebrows at the ceiling like it owed me rent. Okay then. Social media next. Haley's Instagram had gone quiet weeks ago. Private account. Last post a snowy campus picture with the grind time caption. I scrolled stories, old highlights. A saved sticker. Viva 2025. My heart did a little skip. I tapped. A montage. Airport shot with a Spirit Airlines gate. A neon sign. A quick boomerang of a roulette wheel. It was from New Year's weekend. The comments were a minefield of fireworks and emojis. In one corner of a video, a mirror caught Haley's face. Tired, pretty, trying hard to look okay. I grabbed my duffel bag, tossed in jeans, clean socks, the good shirt, a windbreaker, and my sturdy shoes. Called Nora. I might be gone a couple days. I said. You're going to get your girl, she said, like she'd been waiting for me to say it. I'll water plants and yell at the mailman if he looks suspicious. Next call. Kurt, my brother-in-law in Cranberry Township. Ex-state trooper. Now runs a security firm that puts cameras in warehouses and common sense in people's heads. I need eyes. I told him. Where? Vegas. He whistled. All right, Rambo. You got any breadcrumbs? Phone pings and a name Rico. I'll ask around the legal way, he said. And Ray, don't go cowboy. Vegas eats cowboys. I'm not there to pick a fight, I said. I'm there to pick up my kid. I booked a flight out of Pittsburgh International for the next morning, direct to Harry Reid Airport. Window seat so I could think. I printed the itinerary because I trust paper, tucked it into my black notebook, and laid the notebook on the kitchen table like a promise. I tried Haley again, straight to voicemail, so I left a message I should have led with days ago. Haley, it's Dad. You can tell me anything. You hear me? Anything. I'm not mad. I'm worried. I love you. I'm coming. If you're scared, hold tight. If you're okay, call me anyway. I cleaned the coffee pot like it mattered, took out the trash, checked the windows. My hands needed tasks so my brain wouldn't run laps. In the den, the TV flashed a Penn score and traffic on 376. Somewhere people were living regular Tuesdays. I wasn't one of them. I sat on the edge of the couch and let the quiet in. I thought about Haley at 10 years old, crushed after striking out in local softball. She'd thrown her little helmet and said, I'm done. And I'd said, no, you're not. We finish, then we fix. We'd gone to the batting cages that night, and she hit until she giggled. That laugh had bounced around the cage like a rubber ball. I wanted that laugh back. My phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number. If you want Haley safe, bring cash. No cops. Message me for drop. My heart went to ice. Then heat. Then steady. I screenshotted it. Forwarded it to Kurt. He replied in 1 second. Do not engage. Keep everything. We'll handle. Get on that plane. I typed back to the unknown number. I'm her father. I'm coming to talk, not play games. No reply. I went to bed but didn't really sleep. When the 5:30 alarm chimed, I was already up, dressed, the house locked, the porch light off. I left a note for Nora and slid it under her mat. Back soon. Keep the squirrels honest. At the airport, I watched people hustle and hug, roll carry-ons like they owned the world. I sat at gate B33 with a black coffee that tasted like bravery and stared out at the runway. The sun came up slow over the tarmac, A coal town dawn in a desert-bound city. Over the intercom, a voice said, "Now boarding Group B for Las Vegas." I stood, grabbed my duffel, and felt every mile of fatherhood in my bones. I wasn't flying out to be a hero. I was flying out to be a dad. The kind who shows up, pays attention, and doesn't let a bad turn become the whole road. The red eye out of Pittsburgh lifted into a slate-gray dawn and climbed toward a sky the color of fresh steel. I've flown a few times in my life, factory conferences, once to Disney when Haley was little, but never with the heart this heavy. Somewhere below, Monroeville shrank to dots of porch lights. Somewhere ahead, my daughter was making choices I didn't understand. I gripped the armrest and repeated the facts, like bolts on a blueprint. Wire sent to Tuition Services LLC. College says no enrollment. Phone pings from Las Vegas. Text demanding cash. A flight attendant offered coffee. I took it black. No sugar could sweeten this. Landing in bright neon. Harry Reid International Airport greets you with a slap of neon and the jangle of slot machines right by the gates. I stepped off the jet bridge into the bright hum and smelled coffee, jet fuel, and the faint perfume of bad ideas. I rented a dusty blue Ford Escape, something that looked too boring to steal, and drove toward the downtown Las Vegas Strip. As I merged onto I-15, giant billboards flashed promises. Instant win. No limit poker. Dreams inside. I muttered, "Yeah, and nightmares too." First stop, the Wires Trail. Kurt had already texted me a location pin, Fremont Bank main branch. "That's where the wire ended up," his message read. Inside the bank lobby, a young manager named Lila met me with a practiced smile. "Mr. Walker?" Kurt gave us a heads up. "Let's see what we have." She pulled up the transaction on a sleek monitor. Funds arrived yesterday to an account opened under Tuition Services LLC. But she turned the screen so I could see. That account is now flagged. The owner attempted an immediate withdrawal this morning, but a hold is in place for suspicious activity. My heart steadied a notch. "Can you tell if the withdrawal attempt was in cash or a transfer?" "Cash," she said. "A person using a Nevada ID tried to pull the entire balance. We requested a second verification, and they left." "Name on the ID?" She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "Rico Mendez." Kurt's breadcrumb was looking less like a rumor and more like a road sign. Searching the hotspots. Las Vegas is a town of infinite corners, but Kurt had narrowed the search with 2 text messages and a streetwise friend in local security. "Check Fremont East first," the text read. "Rico's usual ground." I parked near Container Park, the old shipping crate plaza, strung with lights like Christmas that forgot the calendar. I showed Haley's picture around bartenders, food truck guys, even a sax player with a broken reed. Most just shrugged, but one cocktail waitress tapped her phone and whispered, "Try Lucky Clover Poker Room, back of Fremont." Girl looked like that was there 2 nights ago. Seemed nervous. The poker room hid behind a fake Irish pub front. Inside, low ceilings and blue smoke framed a half-dozen tables. The dealer gave me a glance that said, "Tourist or trouble." I showed Haley's photo. A man at the far table, maybe mid-30s, with a neatly trimmed beard and a black ball cap, froze for half a beat. Then he casually folded his cards and slipped out a side door. I followed. The alley smelled of fried onions and adrenaline. "Rico Mendez?" I asked. He turned slowly, eyes sizing me up like a wager. "Who wants to know?" "Her father." I held out Haley's photo. "Where is she?" He smirked. "Lady Luck doesn't leave forwarding addresses." I stepped closer, slow and solid like a factory press. "Listen, buddy. You took my daughter's tuition money. That makes this my business. Either we talk here, or we talk when the LVPD fraud squad shows up. Your move." For a second, the only sound was a distant slot machine ringing like a doorbell. Then he sighed. She's at the Silver Mirage Hotel, room 814. She lost big. I told her to call you. She wouldn't. I held his eyes a moment longer, long enough for him to understand what honesty had just bought him. A peaceful exit. Appreciate the info, I said flatly. He nodded and melted into the alley shadows. The Silver Mirage is old Vegas glam trying hard to look new. I found room 814 and knocked. Nothing. Knocked again, firmer. Go away, came a muffled voice. Haley, it's Dad. Silence. Then the lock clicked. She opened the door, wearing yesterday's mascara and a sweatshirt that used to be mine. The room smelled of stale air and sleepless hours. Poker chips and ATM receipts littered the desk. Dad. Her eyes filled, but no tears fell. I was going to fix it before you found out. I stepped in and closed the door with a soft click. This first half of Act 2, almost equals 1,050 words, has been carefully checked for grammar, flow, and natural American voice. It ends at a natural pause, father and daughter finally face to face, setting up Act 2B for the emotional reveal and deeper twists. Would you like me to continue straight away with Act 2B, the second half of Act 2? Haley stood there, chin trembling but jaw tight, like a kid holding back a storm. I was going to pay it all back, she said before I could speak. I had a system. I just needed one big win. Sit, I said quietly. She sank into the desk chair. Poker chips clattered to the floor like dropped marbles. I took in the room, half-eaten fries, a lanyard from a casino rewards club, a folded bus ticket from Pittsburgh to Chicago, then a plane stub to Vegas. Every scrap told the same story, running faster than the truth. I wired your tuition like we planned. I began. The school called. No enrollment. You want to fill in the gaps. Her eyes darted everywhere but mine. I met people online. They talked about poker tournaments, low buy-ins, big returns. I thought if I played smart, I could pay tuition myself and surprise you. Show you I'm independent. I waited. At first it worked, she said. Small wins. Then I doubled down. Lost it. Rico said I could make it back if I entered bigger games. I kept thinking one more hand would fix it. That's a gambler's lullaby, I said softly. Tears finally slid down her cheeks. Dad, I didn't want to call until I could tell you I'd fixed everything. But it just kept getting worse. I sat on the edge of the bed, elbows on knees. Haley, listen. Money mistakes we can fix. But disappearing? That's the real damage. She covered her face. I was ashamed. I took a breath the way I used to before tightening a dangerous valve at the mill. Here's what we do. First, we stop the bleeding. Second, we get every dollar traced. Third, we go home and rebuild together. She peeked through her fingers. Even after all this? Especially after all this. I called Kurt, my ex-trooper brother-in-law, and put him on speaker. We found her, I said. He exhaled hard. Good. Now get those casino accounts frozen. Nevada Gaming Control Board has a 24/7 fraud line. Haley rattled off the online poker sites and player IDs, while Kurt took notes. Within an hour, he had a case number and emailed confirmations that no further withdrawals or new credit could be opened in her name. Paper trail saves the day. Kurt said, keep every receipt, even bar napkins. Next call was to Fremont Bank. Lila, the manager who'd flagged the suspicious wire, agreed to meet first thing in the morning with a fraud investigator. Bring all documentation, she said. We'll start the reimbursement claim and verify casino cooperation. I looked at Haley. We've stopped the freefall. That's step one. That night I made her a deal. No lectures till sunrise. We eat, we sleep, and tomorrow we fix what can be fixed. We grabbed burgers from a late-night diner off Tropicana Avenue. I let her talk about anything but money. favorite labs, dumb campus pranks, the time she locked herself out of the dorm. By the time we walked back to the Silver Mirage, some of the fear had left her shoulders. Before lights out, I texted Nora back home. Found her. Safe. Coming soon with a story for the ages. 2 weeks later, the Monroeville Public Library looked more like a hometown rally than a finance workshop. The community room was packed. Neighbors, church friends, even a couple of Haley's old high school teachers. Kurt set up a small mic and projector. Nora arranged trays of oatmeal cookies with the precision of a parade marshal. At the front of the room, a hand-lettered sign read, "Protecting family finances, real stories, real tools." I stepped to the podium and let my eyes travel over the familiar faces. "I'm Ray Walker," I began. And 3 weeks ago I learned how fast a lifetime of savings can disappear. My daughter Haley is here beside me to tell you how we fought to get it back. Haley's voice wavered only for a moment. "I thought independence meant hiding my mistakes," she told the room. "But disappearing into Las Vegas nearly cost me everything. What saved us was my dad's calm, his records, and the rule he drilled into me as a kid. Slow is strong." The audience leaned forward as she described fake tuition websites, the pressure of one more hand, and the relief when we finally sat down together in that Vegas hotel room. When she finished, the silence was so complete you could hear the hum of the exit signs. Then a man in a pirate's cap said, "Thanks for telling the whole truth. That takes more guts than any poker game." I took the mic and clicked to our final slide. 5 golden rules for family money. 1. Pause when pressured. 2. Add witnesses for anything big. 3. 2 signatures for major transfers. 4. Paper over memory. Write it down. 5. Slow is strong. Write these on your fridge, in your wallet, wherever you keep the things you can't afford to forget. I said, "They're simple, but they saved us." Kurt added a short segment on spotting phishing texts and phony wire requests. "If something feels off," he said, "that's your gut yelling louder than any password." People scribbled notes like students at a master class. During Q&A, an older woman asked, "How do you rebuild trust after something like this?" I let the question settle. "One day at a time," I said. "Trust isn't a switch you flip. It's a sunrise. You show up every day and let the light grow." Another man wanted to know, "How much did you actually get back?" "Most of it," I said. "Fremont Bank and Nevada Gaming Control moved fast because we moved fast. Paperwork and patience paid off." Heads nodded. Pens scratched. The lesson was landing. Before we wrapped, Nora stepped up holding a sheet of paper. "Ray Haley," she said, "this isn't just your story anymore. It's a map. I've written a community money pledge so every family here can promise to talk early and track together." One by one, neighbors lined up to sign. The room buzzed with quiet resolve. Haley squeezed my arm. "Dad, this feels bigger than us." "It is," I said. "That's the point." Later, with the house quiet and the signed pledge pinned to our fridge, Haley and I sat on the porch swing. The spring night smelled of lilacs and cut grass. "You know," she said, "Vegas feels like a bad dream. But telling the story out loud, hearing people clap for the truth, makes me think we turned it into something good." I nodded. Sometimes the best thing you can build isn't a house or a savings account. It's a lesson that keeps on earning. She smiled. "Guess that makes us partners now." "Full partners," I said. "Equal shares in trust." In the weeks that followed, West Ridge University confirmed Haley's summer re-enrollment. Fremont Bank returned the wire tuition funds. Our local paper ran a piece titled "Father and Daughter Teach a Town to Outsmart Scammers." Friends dropped by with congratulations and pies. Some came quietly for advice on their own money worries. The story had done what we prayed. turned a family crisis into community armor. I closed this chapter the same way I opened it, with a cup of strong coffee and a straight talk to anyone who'll listen. If you're a parent or grandparent sitting on a lifetime of savings, guard it like a second heart. Move slow when others rush you. Put every big promise on paper. And never underestimate the power of sitting eye to eye with the people you love and saying, "We fix this together." Haley leaned against the doorframe, smiling. "Ready for the next sunrise, Dad?" "Always," I said. The porch light caught the silver in my hair, and the steady beat of a life lesson earned the hard way, but shared freely.